So how was the Oasis, Bunny Blunts?
So, fellas, let's get it going.
Welcome back to the WatchTower Film Podcast, e-film review podcast on the Towercast Network.
Woo!
By cinephiles for cinephiles. I like that.
Filing it
orchestrated.
up.
Yeah, you are. You're also wooing it up. Good job.
Woo.
We're back.
I don't know if you know I'm a woo girl now.
You are a woo girl.
There's a woo girl?
There's a lot of woo girls.
What's a
Everywhere.
woo girl?
Yeah.
A woo
Is
girl's-
it like the little fat white things that we saw in the anime movie?
No.
the Wada Wadas?
Yeah, the Wada Wadas.
No,
It's like
not
a
the
Wada
Wa-
Wadas.
It's
Those
like
are
an
the
e-girl,
Wada
bro.
burgers.
Oh, shout out to the
no.
Wada Wadas.
No, they're the girls at bars that are like, woo, for everything. You know? Those are the woo girls.
Oh,
So Austin's a woo
you
girl
mean
now.
me?
You know,
that you?
we used to have the ones that were blue boys. The ones that used to be like,
The
blue
fucking-
boys.
The fucking rebels and shit? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Welcome back to the podcast. It's
Welcome
not about
back.
rebelling, but it's about
Cinephiles.
cinema rebels in a lot of fashion.
Do you feel like a
gamers.
cinema rebel
I
when
do.
you call yourself a cinephile?
Sure.
Like you're rebelling against blockbusters?
Mainstream
Are
cinema.
all blockbusters bad?
Definitely not. Stay tuned for July.
Wait, no, I thought this was a blockbuster.
It made its money. I wouldn't call it a blockbuster.
It's a
You wouldn't?
blockbuster. There was a lot of
definitely what
advertising
people call
behind it. It
blockbuster.
was in the summer. It was Spielberg. Spielberg's like the king of blockbusters.
I feel like this was Spielberg's comeback.
Dude, what are we talking about?
Talking about Steven Spielberg's 2018.
Swan song.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Dear God, it's not
not
a
even
swan song.
close.
Dang.
We're talking about Ready Player One, one of my favorite
Whoa.
pictures of all time, genuinely. And this pick was curated by Mr.
Cinema-
Castro
After being influenced.
after being persuaded.
Yes.
Yeah.
After
Well,
being-
honestly, it was just like, because if you guys didn't see the intro, what are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing? We did this episode just for the intro, genuinely. I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Mr. John Eric Castro, who picked this film.
Hi, I'm your actor connoisseur and your FPV pilot for today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, buddy.
You see those moves? You see those moves on the drone?
I mean, one take pony this man.
One take pony.
Yeah, he did it in one take.
Mr. Michael DeLeo,
They call him Clint Eastwood.
who actually lit this shot. Like, I
call me
mean,
one
he
take
lit.
Drake, dude.
He lit the
Damn,
drone,
And he's lit.
and he's lit, baby. He's a woo girl.
Are you a litty titty?
My titties are litty.
Offering a cinematography perspective.
You know, the only reason that line didn't come out too strong is because my mom says, you know what? I'm going to start watching the podcast. And I'm like, oh, God.
Hi, Ann. Thanks for tuning
Hey, Ann,
in.
you know who
Hey.
is litty titties? Mr. Austin Young. Make sure we're sounding
please
good on
do
the ones
not
and
put
Oh,
that
that's
sentence through-
terrible.
Yeah, I know.
Why?
I'm being
it, bro.
genuine by
I
saying
love
hi to
it, bro.
Ann.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hi,
Now
Ann.
Anne's going to hear about the litty titties and she's going to be disappointed.
Just
I'm
gonna laugh
sorry.
at you.
I'm sorry,
mostly.
Mom.
This is your part of the
But
lead
hi,
to the
everybody
committee.
else.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh.
I'm your humble film servant, Carlos Del Toro, offering a writing directing
Yes,
perspective.
he is.
Right.
Not
Writer,
offering a
director
litty titty perspective. I just want to make that very
And
clear.
it is Carlos de la Torre, a.k.a.
Oh, Parzival.
Beanbag Oh.
Director Parzival.
Director Parzival.
Wait,
Beanie.
should we I'll just say our gamer tag.
Sure. What's your gamer tag, Austin?
Little Badger. It's been that since
L1TTLE Badger.
It's been that since the 360. It's
And
never
what's-
changed.
What's yours?
You never regretted it?
Mine?
No.
Good
what?
vibes.
Why would I
Mine,
regret it?
I'm just saying. Mine I kind of go off and on about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Bunny Blunts.
Bunny blunts.
Bunny Blunts.
A lot of people think I'm a girl when I'm playing,
I thought.
That
you know,
makes sense, yeah.
but it's very memorable. So.
I used to be
It is.
that guy.
Yeah, that's right. You were that
That
guy.
was-
oh, wow. That's right.
Yeah, like my old gamer tag used to be that guy, and then when I
That
made
guy?
yeah, that guy, because like I would always like get myself in weird situations, and then people would be like, "Why are you being that guy?" Like, you know, just be normal.
You're not
for
that
once.
guy, bro.
You're
yeah,
not that guy, bro.
exactly. Yeah, and
You're
then
not that
later
guy, pal.
on, now it's good vibes and days, which I just use for everything.
Yeah.
Good
that was
vibes
pretty
and days.
Good vibe Wednesdays.
What was Manny's? Manny's and yours were very similar.
No, not
Hola,
come on.
Manny.
No, genuinely,
Mine's
right?
Original, unique.
It was Bunny Blunts, and
Flashy.
he was something very similar. You
Blonde
remember?
bunnies.
If you give me a minute, I can.
All right.
Yeah, you guys are the ones that play with them. a
And
lot.
my gamer tag is Director Parzival.
Commander Parzival.
But hold on, hold on.
Directly inspired by this film.
Obviously, that was after 2018. What was it before?
I never had a gamer tag.
It
No,
was
wait,
like CLOS
what?
or something.
Yeah, it might have been like CLOZ, you know?
Come on, man.
Celestino was a consistent one I used for a little while there. But I didn't really game online, man. Not till like Austin basically.
Fortnite.
Nah, yeah. When did you start gaming online? I started gaming like in 2014. I remember because Madden.
Like 2011.
Yeah, see? It's been around.
I mean, I'd play, but not online.
Yeah.
I was too poor.
Mine's always been Bunny
No, but you
Brats.
also like made a gamer tag. I remember back in the day when I did want to change from that guy, like you had to still pay Microsoft credits to change your
Yeah, you
gamer
see,
tag.
I wasn't an
Manny's
Xbox guy to begin
Manny
with.
was Breezy Games.
Breezy. This is Breezy Bunny. See, there was something there.
But yeah, no, but you've been Captain Parzival.
Director Parzival. Thank you very much.
Directly
Funny enough,
inspired.
Parzival.
Directly
Funny
inspi-
enough, because I referenced an old video, it used to be Director Carlos.
Really?
Yeah, and then I guess after
Oh,
Ready Player One, you
yeah.
switched it to Director
I
Parzival.
don't remember Director
Yeah, yeah.
Carlos.
Dang.
Cool. But yeah, definitely changed because of this film. This film really like immersion, right? And then like Fortnite came out around the same time. And like when I was immersed in Fortnite, I was like, whoa, Ready
can
Player
be
One. Like you can be
That is true.
I thought that was really cool. So we're talking about Ready Player One. And this is a free pick. And I'm very excited to talk about this picture.
No, it wasn't a free pick. I wanted to pick semi-pro. I got Persuade. I got.
It's because
You persuaded yourself out of semi.
yeah, you hit
I wanted to fly
yourself.
my drone. That's why.
Nah. No, I mean I think that's what happened. We like said like, wait, we got to do that for a drone shot, and then we're
Well,
like,
it's one
oh,
of
we'll
those
do it for
movies
this
we
one.
just had to pick, and it was like, I got the drones on me.
Yeah.
Might as well do this.
Yeah, we were going to do this film at some point. This film's directly adapted from Ernest Cline's Ready Player One.
Which I've heard-
This thing was a bestseller. This
Shout out
this
to
book-
Ernest Hemingway.
Ernest Cline.
Oh,
I heard people like the book way more than they did
I wouldn't say I
film.
like it more, but it is. I was telling Austin earlier that there is a bigger arc for Wade, for Parzival.
Yeah.
There's a bigger character arc in here, and it's just way different. Like everything's different in the book.
like you were telling me
Massively
that
different.
he goes through a moment where he gets depressed and fat.
Yeah, he gets
Oh,
he
really?
gets depressed and fat and doesn't want to leave his apartment in Ohio
Like, is it just
because Artemis leaves him, and should I ruin it for you guys? Are you guys gonna read this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna read it.
So you are gonna read it?
Yeah.
Okay, because something crucial happens that doesn't happen in the film, like crucial that leads to his depression.
Well, I mean, if
Somebody
you,
dies.
Just
but they're okay, right?
cover your ears.
In the film, they are.
Cover.
Cover yours.
Wait, but I'm gonna listen to the. Okay, fine.
I just like that.
Dato dies in the book.
Who the hell's Dato?
Dato.
Oh, yeah.
He dies.
Really?
He gets killed by IOI. He gets killed by IOI. Yeah, he gets killed by
out.
IOI.
Get on those-
really?
Yeah, he dies, and Sho kind of comes up with Parzival, and like they become better friends, and they kind of honor the memory of Dato. And it's just heavy, man. Because in the thing about the book is, if I remember correctly, Dato and Sho live in Japan. Yeah, they don't all live in the same city.
Yeah, okay, so
Yeah,
that
there's a lot of
definitely changed a lot of things.
like different things. Hey, look, a bookmark. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Proof that I finished this fucking book.
Nah.
Yeah, but Ernie Klein did something hell of a picture, or a hell of a book rather that
Yeah.
turned
A
story,
to
yeah.
an amazing picture. In case you didn't know, it's a good place too because they just announced that Ready Player 2 is currently in development.
Oh, so there's a sequel.
There is a sequel of books, and they're developing the sequel of the film right now. There's no confirmation that Spielberg is going to come back to direct, but he'll definitely be back as an executive
I
producer
don't think he should.
Yeah, I
I'll-
think
I'll
they
get
said he's
to
gonna
my-
be
I'll
involved
get to
in
my
some-
rating.
in some capacity.
Yeah.
I brought my book here because I got a first pressing. Is it pressing? No, it's a
First edition?
first edition. There's another word.
Yeah, isn't it first pressing
First press.
or first print?
First print, maybe. And Mr. Ernest Klein, the author, signed it for me.
Only we had Google in the front.
Dang, man.
He signed it for me because it was during the pandemic, and he did like a
Nice.
live stream from his garage. This motherfucker owns like two actual DeLoreans.
Oh,
And yeah, he
jelly.
owns and he did like a live stream from his garage, and he was like signing books. And if you bought a book, like straight out the gate, he would sign it for you, and you could talk to him on the live stream. And so it was cool. He's really cool,
That's
really
nice.
good dude. But yeah, these books are fucking phenomenal, man. I've read both of these and terrific
I've been
stories.
dying to
You
read
should put them in the middle table so people.
In the middle table? Yeah, but that's not to diminish the efforts, the amazing result that we got from Steven Spielberg. I
Yeah.
mean, this
Oh my
picture, for me, it's just, as Austin said earlier, it's just the comeback of Spielberg from a weird kind of era.
Yeah.
Some people agree, some people don't.
I'll also say that I remember the marketing for this one being absolutely phenomenal. There was it was like one of the few trailers that whenever you saw it, it never gave away too much. You saw those same moments in the movie, but I guess you saw them all kind of like
super enhanced or
like I mean visually they were just super striking. I remember the moment when he wins the first key where his car's spinning, it's a DeLorean, it's spinning out and all the leaves and everything. I remember that from the trailer and the big fight scene and everything. But the big thing was the orchestral
the instruments,
World of Imagination. Yeah.
I just remember the nostalgia of Iron Giant.
Yeah, for sure. They brought that in the trailer. I genuinely don't remember
the campaign.
I don't remember what drove me to watch it. Right, like I remember watching it in theaters, and I think like Sandra and I saw it and it was like, oh, that's fucking great. And then I went with Austin to see it, and I think we went with Head. Like we saw it like in the theaters like 3 times, and I just remember feeling like Spielberg rather is back because he was in that era where he made it was after Lincoln. He did Lincoln, which is phenomenal, and then he did Bridge of Spies, which. But the kind of the benefit of Bridge of Spies is that he met Mark Rylance, who plays Halliday in Ready Player One. That's where he first worked with him. Mark Rylance.
He's also the BFG.
He's also the BFG. That's another Spielberg picture that.
Oh wow!
It's based
Big
on the
Friendly
Roald Dahl.
Giant. It's one where it's this kid who basically finds a big friendly giant who
Farts.
exists because of magic, and he collects farts. Like.
It's fucking weird, man. I mean, it's a total kid picture. It's based on the Roald Dahl book.
Yeah.
But I mean, we saw what Wes Anderson could do with a Roald Dahl book, and it's very different.
No comparison.
He also did The Post. Austin really likes The Post. I think it's okay at best.
It was an Oscar bait.
It was an Oscar bait.
But
film.
man, I mean, he really came back swinging because after Ready Player One, we had West Side Story,
The Fablemans.
The Fablemans. Jeez. And then what's this one? Music video?
Yeah.
Oh, he did a Marcus and Mumford.
Yeah.
Nice.
But this Ready Player One just for me felt like all of the Spielberg kind of telltales, right? Like it's all of his trademarks of the adventure, the adventurous Spielberg picture, the music. It wasn't John Williams composing; it was Alan Silvestri, who I think he's one of my top 5 favorite composers. Alan Silvestri. He did, which was why it's kind of special that he did this film. Also, he did the Back to the Future. Scores.
Oh
I mean,
goodness.
he's done legendary shit. If it wasn't John Williams, it was Alan Silvestri working with Spielberg essentially.
They kept sprinkling that little score of
Back to the Future.
Yeah,
and like Zemeckis, they do the Zemeckis cube. It's a nod to Bob Zemeckis, who directed Back to the Future. Not to mention that's why I brought my out of time license plate because that's he uses a DeLorean and shit like that.
This one, I do remember it being a big summer flick because of all the different nostalgia features, like all the different characters from different movies, games, shows, and all that kind of stuff.
It's a pop culture piece,
it
right?
was super poppy. But I mean that's what also I guess kind of added to the allure for people to go and see it. And man, I mean, it was really balanced out.
I just was not expecting this, right? I was either expecting like a kid picture or like this kind of blatant blockbuster that nobody was going to care about.
And I mean, it's just so much. There's so much good.
I kind of found it a little bit predictable in certain areas. I kind of cheesy in certain areas. Okay. I don't know if like this was a little. I don't know if Steven Spielberg was a little too past this time for this type of film. He did a great job, but I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that I really didn't like.
Like what?
The clues, the mom and dad or the stepdad, they were kind of cheesy.
I mean, you need those character moments.
You also need those character moments for it to even be a Spielberg film because if there's one thing that's always
mom and dad, the problems.
It's mom and dad, or it's the divorce factor or the problematic home factor. That's always a Spielberg trademark. Every film,
but like even like the clue for the first key,
the race,
the going back.
That's great.
Yeah, I know, but it's like
But it's only Parzival. No, but only Parzival could because of his love for Halliday, right? His knowledge for Halliday could,
It could feel cheesy if it was like, sure, it's by luck. Like he was walking down a hallway.
Upon it
but no, he kept going back to that scene, and even like the curator reference, like,
I love that.
You're gonna come back and see this again. But then when you heard that line, that's when something clicked. So you could tell he was the person who was destined.
Figure that
I just feel like maybe like somebody that is a little bit into more video games and that whole.
But think about
MMO.
it as a video game lover, right? And as someone who I know likes a challenge,
right?
You're gonna think, no, the shit's passable. I gotta find the route. I gotta figure out
how
to
for sure, and I love that. It's just
like,
I guess overall the whole. I know you really like this one. I really do too. I like the nostalgia of King Kong and all that stuff. It's just, how can I put it in words?
It feels a little on the nose or
too easy.
Too easy.
Dude, I have the perfect word right now. My bad. Okay, hold on. My bad.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, ultimately, I think just the trajectory of how the story kind of plays out, how we're introduced to characters, how it's just a great, it's a great film to just go get yourself lost into the immersion.
I love that the intro of the film basically felt like a big cutscene for a video
game.
game.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So why did I feel like it was like a little bit soulless?
Soulless? Like there was no arc, there was no character development, or
the best friends were like forgettable.
You think so? Oh man,
I think so.
I think
the one that was more memorable was T.J. Miller, the bad guy that was playing.
He's funny, but I don't know if he was memorable.
The bad guy, what's his name?
Sorrento.
Yeah, Sorrento. He was good, but it just.
I think there's also like too much to cover, and that's usually what happens with adaptations from books. Yeah, there's too much to cover in a short amount of time. I mean, because you really are going through the expanse of like. One, he somehow figures out a way to get the first key. Then we need to establish that there is a friend group that he's very close to. Then we need to establish that they're close enough that they're able to come and aid him
I think
towards the very end.
Structurally, right? Structurally, as a story structure,
it's nice.
It's paced extremely well.
Yeah,
and it's presented.
Film,
the information is not exposition-y. It's not jarring. It crosses its points. And the race factor is completely different from the book. The book is kind of boring. That part is kind of boring. The opening of the book, essentially, he goes to the planet in the book, which I guess in the film
Wormulon?
too. No, not Wormulon. He goes to a planet that is nothing but schools. And when you go to school in the Oasis, you go to that planet.
Right.
Right outside his school, there's like a cave. Inside that cave, there's old game cabinets.
Nice.
And he had to do like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign in order to get the first key.
Oh, really?
But it's a lot of nothing. It's a lot of sitting around and figuring it out. It's not.
Yeah.
There's no action.
Yeah.
There's no race. There's nothing cinematic necessarily about it.
And again, I mean, for doing a blockbuster picture and taking that moment, and I mean, sure, creative liberties. But wow, like.
Well, the good thing is that the screenwriter was Ernest Cline.
Oh man,
yeah, he wrote the screenplay along with somebody else. There's another co-writer. But Zach Penn, click on Zach Penn because Zach Penn's got some shit. He's wrote some action pictures. He knows what he's doing, right? He wrote Avengers and
Lego Marvel's Avengers,
Incredible Hulk and X-Men Last Stand and stuff like that.
Avengers the sequel.
Inspector Gadget, bro. Love it.
He was the Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget. Anyways. Between Zach Penn and Ernest Cline, they wrote the screenplay, and essentially everybody fucking wanted the rights to this book because it was a bestseller, New York's bestseller.
Go up a little bit, Austin.
And
that guy's the one I hated the most.
Halliday?
Yeah.
What the hell's the matter with you? He's an Academy Award winner.
Oh my God.
There's so many things I liked about it, but man, that guy was just.
But that was
the humanity. Really, you didn't like that character?
The humanity of that character, man. Like
because
I don't know. Maybe I just didn't relate to it, connect to it. It was just kind of like,
you know what it is?
Acting so like
it's because he
uninterested, and I get that's your thing, but.
No, but I
feel
feel
like geniuses, man. Think like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs
was cool, and he was weird, but cool. This guy was just kind of like an asshole.
No, just so you know, the writer based the Halliday character and Ogden Morrow, the partner, he based them directly on Steve Jobs and Wozniak, the two Apple. Yeah, he based them directly on them. They're based directly.
Well, I've seen the Ashton Kutcher one. I've seen
like their mannerisms.
Yeah. But you were saying.
Oh no, I was gonna say like I love that character because
I do too.
It's again it's this guy working on making a world where he fits in because the real world and then people look at him like, oh, you're this mythical, iconic, legendary character, and that was so different than the rest of us. And he's like, I never wanted to be different. I just wanted
to fit in.
I just wanted to fit in.
World,
so that's why I played games and I made a big game just so I could feel that.
And that line at the end that Ogden Morrow delivers is, he says, Halliday, Jim used to always say the Oasis was never supposed to be a one-player game.
Yeah.
It was about the community. And by the way, Oasis is an acronym in the book. They don't really care in the movie because it doesn't matter, but the acronym kind of states it's all about like community, essentially. Online community. And but there's so much to cover, but I think we should get into our ratings.
Yes.
Who do you want to go first?
It's his call.
That's who I'm asking.
Oh.
Even though I looked at you.
I know. Fucking.
I'm sorry.
Let's start with Austin and go.
All right.
Clockwise.
Are we just rapid fire and then we'll get into it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Rapid fire. I think that's the best way.
I gotta think about this.
Yeah, I had to think about this.
Exactly. I gave you something to think about, right?
Let me sit back.
I'd give it an 8.6.
Yeah, that's where I'm at around.
Why do you make it sound like that's a bad thing?
No. It just when I first saw it, it was definitely above a 9. Now that I see it a couple times now, it's kind of like.
Well, if it's like on a personal like rating, like not thinking about like the cinematic value, it'd be a lot higher.
What did you give it?
An 8.6
That's fair.
as a value to cinema.
Yeah.
But it, like on a personal level, I'd rate it like a 9.9.
Yeah.
9.9.
Yeah, so it's
You're a gamer. You understand this world a little bit, and you understand the streaming world. You understand.
my favorite moment. I know it's so stupid, is when all the Master Chiefs are running, and then it starts I think in real life.
Hubert or whatever.
No, it's in real life, and it's like a group of guys running, and then it cuts into the Oasis,
And it's just a group of Master
Chiefs running. Yeah,
That was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Oh man, I think it's hard to rate it if we're judging it as cinema,
we should have probably saved this film for the blockbuster month, right?
No, it's because it's a fantastic blockbuster and it does so much. But
it stands out.
Yeah,
For sure. I mean,
Outside of the blockbuster kind of.
I'll give it an 8.8. I'll be generous just because I feel like story-wise and everything fantastic. But yeah, I'll get more into it right now. 8.8.
Fair. I'm with you. This is one of my top 25 films of all time, just personally.
yeah.
I don't know. This film did something for me. It made me appreciate this side of cinema that has kind of ruined the bad side of blockbusters have for me ruined cinema in a lot of ways, or mainstream cinema. When guys like Spielberg worked very hard in the 70s to make mainstream cinema good cinema. I mean, things like Jaws, things like when we talk about blockbusters, right? Things like E.T., Jurassic Park. I mean, that was in the 90s, but he worked very hard to make that's why Spielberg's a household name, because people who don't care for cinema know who his films, know who he is, but he also fucking made good films. So yeah, it's one of my favorite films. It just opened up the world again for me. Like, oh, we can still do this right. We can still have people, a film can still make $1 billion and be fun and draw everybody to the film. This isn't exclusive to kids or to gamers only, or to it's got an arc. It's got great arcs and
I agree.
everything. So anyways, I'm about there. I'm at I'll call it an 8.7. I'm at an 8.7, and by the
curious on a personal level.
I mean, I think just like on a personal level, this film means a lot to me because even today we screened it, right? I've seen this film fucking probably 20 times at this point. And
wow.
Maybe more, man. Like Austin was saying, like at my house earlier, that this is one of those films that you could just throw on and feel good about, and just not have to think about it. If you know it, you just run through it and run through the arcs in your head almost. But if I've seen this film that many times, today we screened it again. I pushed for us to screen it at my house because we saw it in Dolby Atmos, and the fucking sound is amazing in this film.
Incredible.
I mean, incredible. And I genuinely, the only other film that kind of stands out for sound, Atmos at least right now, is like All Quiet on the Western Front, and this one is just a lot of fun, man. And the sound is perfect, like perfect. But anyways, I still got the feels. And every single moment I needed to get them in,
Nice.
I got the feels on the peaks of I'm rooting for my characters. I got the emotional feels of like, oh, when he says, no, you were the rosebud, not your wife. I still like,
I could feel all that in all the different beats, all different moments. I would even feel myself getting like teary eyed just because there was moments that would just happen. You're just like it feels so good.
It feels great. And Spielberg does that better than anybody, I think.
8.7.
8.7.
Castro?
That's beautiful.
I fucking disagree.
No. I guess I'm just hating it. Just going against the grain or whatever.
But hey, you're allowed to say whatever you want.
I think I'll give it an 8.5 just for the nostalgia. I mean, I loved it, man. Great action film. Like, the action scenes were awesome.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think it lacks is just some of the characters I didn't like. The boss,
You didn't like.
I didn't like, yeah. The boss I didn't like. I didn't like the creator guy. Just me, personal.
Which boss?
The big guy.
Sorrento.
And then the other guy. But I like Simon Pegg. I mean, I like Ty.
I like Ty Sheridan in this.
He was kind of boring, bro.
Who?
Come on, bro.
Ty Sheridan, Parzival.
Really?
I don't know why I'm hating. Like, I remember the first time I saw it, I was like,
okay,
through the moon,
I'm
man.
puzzled.
I loved it.
I'm perplexed, Castro, because at my house, I could have sworn, like, how you were reacting to it, I could have sworn you had never seen the picture before. Like, it made you like, oh shit. Or like when Ogden Morrow was revealed as the curator, you were oh shit. I was like, yeah.
That's why I give it an 8.5. It has its moments, but there's just like some
I think
parts.
it's just their aspect of the character development that you just don't like.
That's where I'm focusing more on my rating word.
You know,
Sure,
and
that's
it's
fair.
crazy because, again, I feel like
It's just not a complicated
no
arc. It's just we're there.
No. I just didn't like
The arc.
Yeah, I feel like why do they mark him as Anorak? Is that because that's his gamer tag?
That's his gamer. All the gamer tags. Look, Sorrento, Parzival,
Anorak,
Artemis,
the all-knowing.
H.
Well, I just feel like for his character, it's just so interesting. I mean, like every time you see him,
interesting for
I
sure.
loved how the way to really like, again, get this victory at the end of, or to find the Easter egg is to understand, like, you know, the human condition. And I mean, the whole point
It
of
has
the film.
nothing to do with winning the competition. It has everything to do with like, sure, gaming's fun, but we got to live in the real world.
No, yeah, and I mean, like, it all comes back to like existing in reality.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's like it's fun to play games, but then at the end of the day, this guy wished that, you know, he wasn't playing games all the time.
Yeah.
He wished that he could have gone out. Like, the challenges were like, he wished that he didn't have to go and become this big business, or like that he took the leap and got the girl, or like at the very end that it was just about playing. It was never about winning. You know,
no.
stuff like
Well,
that.
definitely, after you explain that, definitely is not the arc. It's just the way he played the character.
No, and
His
that's
was
the
tight.
thing.
Ty?
No,
Anorak. Oh, man.
Just the way he played it. Good arc.
and that's what I'm saying.
beautiful. Is like
No, and especially the way he plays it. I thought, if anything, I thought that was the best, because every time we see that character, you're not seeing this like mythical god. I mean, think a very similar story. Think of like Charlie. No. Think of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? And whenever we see Willy Wonka come out, especially I'm talking about the Gene Wilder one. Like if we're talking about like the Gene Wilder character, he commands everything. If something good or bad happens to you, it's almost like he can just kind of wave his fingers and change the world around.
What I like about Mark Rylance's performance is he played it, and I don't mean any offense in the slightest of this. It's like that. He played it almost like a higher functioning Rain Man. You know, he played it like somebody who's autistic,
you're in the right
but
direction.
genius. You know, to an extent. Like genuinely, it's like high functioning Asperger's. You know, like there's something about him that's not socially developed, but his
here's a weird
intellect,
comparison.
his ability to.
Elon Musk has that.
But he's a
Likeable.
dick.
No, but
fuck no, he's likable. He's likable. My ass, he's likable.
The way you think about is the way I think about that guy.
Wow. Yeah, no, I think Elon Musk is a dick. I think Mark Riley or Anorak.
No, I don't think this guy's a dick. I
He's
just think
just like-
he's just annoying.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
what the fuck, dude? Like, you think you're the shit?
No, and
Wow.
And I know
Ah.
he's playing like he's trying not to be that, but that's
I
how it's
think-
coming across.
I felt like he was such a compassionate
human
character.
character,
Yeah, human.
yeah.
Just
I feel like, why am I wasting my breath? talking to
wow.
you,
Okay.
You know,
That's
and you know what? I think you
Obviously,
were,
the arc doesn't say that, right? But
I
just
mean, the
his-
only time I think you get that from him
when he's
is
talking about Og, maybe.
yeah, when he's talking to the guy who becomes the CEO. Is his name Og?
just the way how he talks.
when Sorrento comes home with the coffee.
Yeah, where he's like,
He's
oh,
like,
I
you
think,
can do like a platinum or gold, and he's like, good coffee.
Hell of
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
no, and
Exactly.
it's no, but I feel like every time you see his dialogue, and even the way that Parzival's breaking it down, it's all going back to
Are you sympathizing in that moment? Are you sympathizing for the Sorrento character? The coffee moment?
Well, I mean, it was kind of like rude.
I think most people do in that moment.
Yeah.
I'm not. Fuck that character. He knew what he wanted to get out of this. He was trying to create a tier system for people to pay into the Oasis.
Afterwards.
And no.
Afterwards, we learned that.
No, we learned it in that scene. In that scene, he's like, "Hey, I want to pitch to you. Like, we could have like different tiers, and the last one could be water because Oasis, and depends how much they pay." And he's like, "Hell of a cup of coffee, dude. Like, I'm not into that. I want this thing to be free for people to enjoy." Like. Yeah.
We also see at the very beginning when he's introduced that character and he's at the board meeting and all that, they're like, we figured out that we can take up 80% of the visual advertising space before inducing seizures. And like in that moment, you realize
know who he is.
Yeah, that character is purely meant to be like just an evil character. He's not meant to be humanized at all. The only moment that you're supposed to see that he is capable of humanity is when he's about to shoot him, but then sees that he's holding the golden egg and then realizes like it's always been about.
That's what it's it's real. It's real. It's not about the money. It's about what this egg means.
But you guys are talking about the other guy, Sorrento. Yeah. No, I'm talking about Mark.
No. But that's why I asked you if you sympathized with that character, because it would maybe inform, like, are you sympathizing with him and you feel like this guy's a dick because of the coffee comment, or...
No, just the way he talks. He's like, everything I say has a meaning, so everybody should just listen carefully. And I know he's the creator of Oasis, but
you know what?
He could have played a different character. Say the same line, but just not be that asshole. It's like,
I'll argue this. I'll argue that those moments were not meant to be moments where it's like everything I say is cryptic and special. I think it's more of those we go through our lives and have those moments where like there's a mess up or this moment switched and there's a sentence we said or a dialogue that happens where we're like, oh, I remember when I said that, and then we'll either feel bad about it or so. And I think those were just meant to be like that first one. It's after a party. It's after, he's what is it called? He's going to start this business and everything, and he's just like, I'm not really into it. And then he's just replaying that moment in his own head.
Look up that quote that they, when they're talking in H's workshop, I really love that quote because to me that defines the character, just as a foundation. And then we can get into why it doesn't matter. He's still Dick. But that quote where he says, and somebody could look at the back of an ingredient in the ingredients and discover the secrets of the universe. That quote to me defines the Halliday character, and who he is, right? But it's some people can read War and Peace. Like, War and Peace is a fucking massively important book. Some people can read War and Peace and come away thinking it's a simple adventure story. Others can read the ingredients on the chewing gum wrapper and unlock the secrets of the universe. And that's who Halliday is.
That's pretty good.
And because it's just that's how he sees the world, right? He doesn't see, I have an opportunity to build something that's going to make money and it's going to be commerce for people and it's going to be their mainstream. In the book, they don't emphasize this a ton. I guess they do a little bit in the film, but in the book, think of the Oasis like Apple. Mm-hmm. Yep. If the Oasis doesn't exist, the world goes to shit, right? People don't have
and I know he's important,
commerce and this and that, right? And he's just like, I don't care. Like, I just wanted to connect with people. That's all I did this for, you know?
And I understand why his character's like that. I just don't like that he played it like that.
Yeah.
I think he could have played it a different way.
So, how do you think? What would you have maybe wanted to see out of the character? Like, if same situation, or if you're
with me, obviously, if you add a little bit of humor in there with him,
okay.
He was just.
You think so? Because I feel like those awkward, quirky moments, is that what it was trying to do? Like when he's in the bedroom at the end and he's like, where did I put the egg? Like, he's just looking sort of.
That annoyed me.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
That's such a good moment.
What about the moment when
I still remember thinking, oh shit, this is annoying me.
Oh man.
Because I saw it coming. Okay. I saw it coming. He's like,
really?
oh well, I'm sitting down and I must have. What? And then he goes off into another fucking thing. I'm like,
you know what I liked also? What about the moment in the dialogue where it's like, hey, so I'm gonna go out with that girl or something like that, and it's like, oh, so what happened?
Give me the juice.
She wanted to go out dancing, and where'd you take her? We went to the movies.
Like, she wanted to go out dancing, so we watched the movie.
Yeah, like I like those moments.
That one was good. That was good.
Or like when Parzival's trying to get the key from him, but he's like falling around in the car, and he's like,
"Do you want it?
Do you want it?"
Like, see, those are good.
Yeah,
but with that character was just
that's him.
That's his character.
Who?
That's him. That was him.
The wizard.
The Mark.
Yeah.
But when he's him.
Oh,
when he's him by himself,
cool and shit and mysterious, and
but not the dude. That's peculiar. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm reaching, but maybe that's the point.
It is. It
You know,
probably is.
if you can't stand him, he can't stand himself. That's why he creates a character for himself. That's why he
probably
creates a
really good
world
character.
for
It
himself,
probably is
right?
a really good
That's
character.
interesting. I mean, that's just a new perspective. That's interesting.
It just to me, I was just like,
There were a couple actors, guys, so you'll be glad to know that I think you would have. I can't think of them off the top of my head. There was two that were considered for the role other than Mark Rylance.
Downey.
No, not Downey.
Damn.
I think it was Tom Hanks.
Really?
No, there was two like key actors that were considered for the role. Who was it?
I could see probably.
Who was it?
I could see Downey.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, she's still on.
I think it might have been like Bill Murray. Who the fuck was it?
Who could I see playing this part, man?
Who's
I
going
could
by-
see probably like.
Before Austin.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah, give us that answer first. Who would you have wanted to pick?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton was up for No, he
See?
was up for the Sorrento role, wasn't he? Yeah, he was up for Sorrento. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah, Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks are considered for Duke's Holiday.
What?
Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks because they both worked with Spielberg before.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise.
Also, did you see who was considered to direct?
Yeah, they wanted Mr. Edgar Wright to direct. They wanted Christopher
Oh,
Nolan to
see?
direct. They wanted
That's what I'm saying. Like
Zemeckis.
maybe.
Bob Zemeckis to direct, which obviously would have made sense.
I don't know why I keep thinking maybe like I'm not saying he's old, but I'm just saying like for this topic, I think somebody would
He
have
pulled it off.
No, he did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like
Like a younger, like a Edgar Wright.
yeah, it would have been a little bit more
interesting.
Oh,
either
man.
humory
Would've been a
or
way
more
different fucking
edgy,
film.
more something. This one just felt like Steven Spielberg. It's
But
good.
it's fucking Chucky.
Yeah, exactly. No, those are good. There's good parts, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like certain parts was just boring as hell.
Ah,
I know, bro.
breaking my heart.
The first 20 minutes, I was into it, but
Yeah.
then it's just like
Is it too much exposition? What was it? Like, was it too much explaining of the world?
it was just the villain was boring as shit.
Oh dear God.
That's where I'm like, I'm not trying to like be detailed. I'm just like,
no,
those
but,
two characters.
But maybe the villain
annoyed-
represents something bigger, right? The villain represents what's wrong with the world today.
Yeah, because I mean,
that people don't enjoy shit for what it is. They want to make money off of it. They want to fucking milk whatever they count out of something pure, something that the creator wanted to be pure, and these motherfuckers don't care. You know,
he really is like the big bad boss of like a game. You know,
that's true.
He's literally like at the top of the tower. No one can touch him.
Yeah.
He has all the power, all the money, and
Trying to
everything
think
like
of, my favorite bad guys right now.
that.
It's just I don't know, man. I'm
Kevin
used
James.
to. I want more vivid, more.
You know what? I also think that in
wouldn't that-
today's modern films,
Yeah.
we're so used to the dynamic villain. Like we're so used to the dynamic villain where there's different facets of him. We want to understand where he came from, and so that way we are, as audience members, are conflicted whether we want to side with him or not.
No. I think
think
people. No, you're not. You're right on track to an extent. But I think people in mainstream cinema, in mainstream cinema, people
what this
want
is.
to be fucking scared with a villain. And I don't mean that in the horror sense. I mean that in the realism sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I'll
you
be
see
that
this.
guy.
This is a fantasy picture. This is ultimately a fantasy picture. And the adventurous side of the. For instance, you're not going to go and see.
But it's
you're
still-
not going to go and see E.T. Right. And I mean, really, the villains are the humans, right?
The government.
Or the government, right? You're not going to go see an E.T. and expect that type of villain. You're going to expect.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
The first race,
Yeah.
King Kong,
Right. What about
scary.
Yeah.
Right? It was intense, just aggressive.
based on the 1933 King Kong, by the way,
Oh,
which
for
you
real?
can hear the score in that moment when he comes out. You could hear the 1933 score.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Flesh up. Anyways, I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to think, man. I don't know why I'm thinking of the bad guy from The Mask.
Okay.
He has a little bit more to him.
He's
You know,
silly,
I
though.
feel like
No,
what
he's
you
not silly. He's like
you
The
would have
mask.
just
Jim Carrey's the mask.
the villain.
That's why the villain's silly.
The villain?
Yeah.
The guy that steals the mask, puts it up.
Wasn't it Cillian Murphy? It was Cillian Murphy, wasn't it?
no.
Who the fuck was the villain in the mask?
I forget his name. He
I
made
feel
a
like it
couple.
was somebody, or maybe somebody that looked like Cillian Murphy.
No,
But
he looks rough.
Like,
He
I
looks-
think what you want is maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but like almost like the mafia kind of bad guy where has no
guy,
regard
Peter
for
Green.
life. I just want to get ahead.
This motherfucker looks like Cillian Murphy. I'm just saying, or did back then.
Look at that's a
man.
bad guy right there.
he looks
dog.
like Cillian Murphy.
That's the fucking bad guy right
Is that
there.
the same guy from
Pulp
Pulp
Fiction.
Fiction.
Oh, he wasn't
He's
in Blade Runner?
he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
Maybe. No, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
what you're saying.
and then it's not all about the looks. It's
That's
just,
also a very 90s bad guy, though, right? Like, that's the archetype
sure,
of a
for sure.
90s
No,
bad
but
guy.
you
like-
just wish he was a lot more like maybe
Either-
commanded the screen as
It's a
opposed to like
great presence. Exactly.
compared to like I do
This guy
agree.
looked like he was just passing by.
He was. You could definitely tell that there was like a weakness to him in the sense of when that kid's holding a gun at him. I was thinking in that moment, there's certain bad guys that we would see that you can tell that they would have overpowered the kid because they themselves command the screen and they're not to be messed with or trifled with at all. And you got to be really smart if you want to get around him. This guy was very much like, dude, we could hack into your system and just take over, and you're just sitting there kind of stupid, like, oh, I didn't know. And
He was
like,
outwitted by the things he makes fun of.
yeah,
right? Like,
and then even like the girl who's like, "Oh, let me handle the job, and you do your job, unless you want the gun." And he's like, "Never mind, sorry."
It's kind of a pussy, right? But also
Yeah.
like I love the Olivia Cook. I love Artemis's arc because
She was good.
I love her as an actress.
Yeah.
I think she's phenomenal. I've seen her in some indies that she does amazingly.
Really,
in.
I've seen her too. I just
Dude,
don't remember
if you
where.
guys haven't, please, we'll cover it on this podcast at some point. I'll pick it. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. She's phenomenal in that picture.
Me and her on the dying girl. Yeah.
Fucking great picture, and she's great in it. You know who would have been a good Parzival too? The lead in that one, the
Who is
blonde
it?
kid.
Who is it?
He was in
Was it the guy from? He did the short for that big film.
No, not
not that guy.
No, you're thinking of Whiplash, right?
Yeah.
No. This is this kid, Thomas Mann. He was in like Project
Oh,
X and
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
But like he's good. He would have been a good Parzival too. Actually, I think.
See, probably like I like the other guy more. I like the other guy too. Is just
Yeah.
he didn't command the screen at all
That's what I'm saying.
either.
But
you
think about this for a second. Most
Like
most fantasy not fantasy. Well, yeah, most fantasy adventure pictures from Spielberg don't.
But
Name
usually
a lead that commands the screen.
But usually the protagonist is either like he's humorous.
an antagonist that I think commands the
No,
screen.
he's saying about Ty Sheridan, like as Parzival, that he
Yeah, as
didn't
Parzival.
he didn't do
Oh,
shit.
him too.
Yeah, dog.
What
Well,
about in the video game world?
Hold on.
What was okay?
The
I'll ask
confidence,
you this.
right? Like the confidence that he knows his Halliday shit. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Like what did you like about him?
That
Oh, about his character?
Yeah.
That I feel
You
like
really thought he was confident?
when
I-
he's in
no.
the Oasis, absolutely.
No.
When he's out of the Oasis, no, because when he gets home, gets punched by the fucking aunt's boyfriend.
Yeah.
He has no power in that world. But when he's in the Oasis, he has knowledge over the Halliday.
No, for sure.
You know-
But him playing that character,
I just
you
think
feel it
yeah,
I feel like his character is like a younger resemblance of Halliday, and then that's how you see
Yes!
the progression
Absolutely.
go up. Where
Hold on, how?
it's
The
a
younger version of him.
It's a younger version of the guy who made the game, the
creator.
Halliday wizard guy. Because when you look at it, whenever he's there,
Yeah.
he's just enjoying the game, and then
Yeah.
his friends are there, and he's like there with the core
But doesn't
fundamentals.
he really want to win though?
Yes, he does,
Let's
because
put
that's
it
why
this
he
way.
goes.
Let's put it this way. What's I forget the name of the world, the battle world, right? Where we see locate H, and we go into the world of
Yeah.
like, the massive
Doom.
Oh, Planet Doom,
Planet
right? That world, his friends are fucking ruling this world, right?
Yeah.
They're killing people. They know the powers. They know what they're doing. He probably wouldn't. He's not there with them for a reason, right? He's not the battle guy. He's the knowledge guy, right? He's gonna come through on that perspective,
Yeah.
And he's gonna know Halliday left and right because he loves this world. He loves this world so much. It's like us, right? We love a film so much that we want to know everything about the director, and that's his. He loves the Oasis so much that he's gonna go back to fucking learn about
But
why this thing.
What
exists.
I'm saying is, I didn't feel that through the screen. I'll give you an
Really?
example.
yeah.
Back to the Future. Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox commands the screen.
You know what?
every single
I'll-
time.
I'll
Not
have-
meaning that he's overdoing it, but it's just like he's
I'll
either
disagree.
quirky, funny.
I'll disagree. I think I think
sharp,
that's the problem.
edgy.
I think Back to the Future. What happens is if anybody's commanding the screen, it's Dr. Brown.
And Michael J. Fox.
It's Dr. Emmett Brown though, because Fox is just kind of stumbling through life, figuring it out. Parzival has a clear indication of what he wants out of life.
You know what I also
You know?
think? I think that in this
Fox
movie,
is just fucking. Oh, I'm friends with a scientist, and then I'm on my skateboard and I crash
Nah,
into some
he's-
shit.
he's funny, bro.
He's funny. That's
Humorous.
it, though. That's all he's got going for him.
I'll
This guy
say
has nothing.
No,
He
no,
just
but
said the lines.
you know what?
Oh,
If
if you look at him-
emotion on this guy.
shit, that
No,
was the
he
Parkinson's
grows.
talking, man. That's what.
he grows so much. Like you could tell that when we first introduced him, even though he's walking around and feeling cool and all that, even when he's in the game, he's still fumbling with girls. He's still like not really the most like
he's going to the back of the race to pick up coins because he's broke.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the cool guy. And I feel like towards the end, he's literally doing a chat commanding all of Oasis come and guide or come and fight again with me, you know?
In and out the world, by the way. In the Oasis, come and fight with me. Out the world, meet me at the stacks. We gotta fuck this guy up.
Yeah, you definitely said that.
And when
no, but also, but also,
even when
he makes out with the girl at the end too, dude, man. Like,
and when he has that whole conversation with Artemis, at first he's just a kid being like, "Oh,
let me show off."
No, right? He's like, "Oh, if I win, I'm gonna build a big place and I'm gonna buy all this stuff and I'm gonna be really cool." And then she's like, "You have no idea like what this is all for, what this all means. Like you're just trying to like protect your own little life." And after his aunt dies. And like he basically realized like I'm alone and I need to fix the problem. Yeah. Like that's
I have the voice because now I'm the first person to ever get a fucking key. I have the platform.
It's purpose.
Like, I love the plot. I love the theme.
By the way, just to touch a little bit on the Artemis factor. I loved her arc because when it comes to the Sorrento character, right?
I love her arc too.
It's my father fucking Gaynard. He gathered Gaynard.
Gaynard.
He was a gay nerd. No, he might have. He might have been. Why?
Oh, just go on.
You got something against gay nerds? Anyways, no, but my father had so much debt.
I think
right?
thinking like YouTube. Like,
my father had so much debt, and because of that, he had to go to a loyalty center, and he fucking died in there.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for my life, and this is why I take it so seriously. But the arc of when Sorrento's character's inside the fucking Mecha Godzilla and she shoots through it and she throws the thing, it's like now she's revealed with her birthmark in the game so that he knows who it fucking is. He knows who it fucking is, and that's her revenge, right? That's awesome. Her like, my dad died in the center because of fucking you, people like you.
People like him.
I'm going to avenge him, right?
Yeah.
So like just those little moments of like she sees the cruelty in the Sorrento character, right? Like he may be at most he's a bad guy in an office, right? Like he's just like he's not the bad guy, you know. He becomes that guy when he goes and gets the gun and shit like that. When he like physically goes and is desperate. Yeah. But ultimately she sees the evil from the get go, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess part of
also I'll say that with this movie, part of like again, I remember it coming out in the summer. Yeah. It's a Spielberg blockbuster picture. Yeah. See, that's basically summer in China. No, but I remember this being like a big picture coming out and a big marketing strategy also with it and something they keyed in on. Right? Yeah, it's something they keyed in on for like it to be successful is a lot of like the nostalgia factor. So I feel like in parts where you weren't focusing on the characters and their development, they really did do a big like fan service with like now let's show these characters.
Like, that's a good way to put it.
Godzilla. So if there's anything good,
I definitely caught myself going, "Oh, look at that!"
Yeah.
Right there.
If there's anything good about this picture, is that it checks every box across the board on both levels, right? On the cinematic level and on the mainstream level.
Yeah.
And it's so rare for a film to do that nowadays. Is to like, this is I think Ready Player One are the films that make you want to go to the movies. Like I want to go to the movies because that looks great.
I'm glad that we watched it in your house with the whole surround sound. I was right here with the speaker right here.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I didn't catch this, but since Austin was sitting next to you, he was like, "Dude, Castro was like when the first kind of battle came out." He's like, "What the fuck?" Like the bullets were
because
flying
over
this
way, and it was like right here was the speaker. Like,
Atmos, baby. Dolby Atmos. Please watch everything Dolby Atmos. It's fucking awesome.
It was fantastic.
So I do want to talk a little bit about.
Can I talk?
Yeah. You had something to say.
What's up? It's just I had like
say with your chest.
Did I like trigger something? I mean, I didn't realize the parallels between this and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I saw you like remark right now, but go on.
Somebody in the book, somebody reviewed that way. Yeah.
Because think about it, like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
the competition.
Willy Wonka is looking for the right kid. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care who makes it through the tour or whatever. He's looking for the right kid, right? So here, the main clue for at least the first key, the curator never let that clip play before out. He would end it after Parzival walks away. So after what's his name? Ogden.
Which clip? The backwards?
Yeah, the backwards. Ogden, like when he realized, oh, Parzival might be the kid to do it, because Parzival's already walking away.
Yeah,
But he lets it
keeps
play
And he
out.
lets it play out.
Yeah.
So that was their way of like, oh, this is the kid to do it.
Also, I think Ogden, like, his whole thing was, I know little bits of how to get to the egg, but
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna let anybody
Yeah,
come
but
through.
like he gave him like the little like.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? Like he gave him like that
He didn't
one.
just
The
cut
only
the
thing, the only
clip,
thing
yeah.
that I'll argue against with there is that the curator mentioned to him is that he's like, you've only seen this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So he has seen it before.
But I mean, who knows?
Yeah, but we don't know
Yeah.
how far he's gone.
How
Maybe
far he got
yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
I like
And like,
it.
why wouldn't the curator stop it when he walks away?
Right.
Why does he let it keep
Yeah,
playing?
no, that for sure. For
So
sure.
that's what I'm
Small
saying.
note
I
of
feel-
assistance, you know.
Because
Yeah, I
it's
feel
a,
like
it's a
there is
robot. It stops it.
You know
when-
what?
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's it might be. You're right. It might be, but I think it's more assistance because at the beginning of the film, when he goes to the archives, nobody fucking. It's empty.
Yeah.
Nobody's there.
I think you mentioned, or maybe in the movie you mentioned, like when it first came out, everybody was there.
Yeah, and then
And
it
then
kind of
that-
just
yeah.
everybody got forgot about it, and that's what's special about Parzival, is that he still cares. He cares so much about this world, and the curator sees that. Right?
Well, that's
It's
what I
like-
mean. I think that's why. Like,
That's why he kind of
yeah.
No, I love the character. Just
But
the
that's
way
why I say that's
the-
why I see the parallels between Charlie and Chocolate
yeah,
Factory
yeah,
and
yeah.
this. Kind
But
of.
no, how? Because in Charlie the Chocolate Factory, that doesn't happen.
No, in
No,
Charlie
but-
and the Chocolate Factory, it's just that
Oh, I'm
big
sorry,
art.
Willy Wonka,
Or
and the
Willy
Chocolate
Wonka, yeah.
Factory, because there's a
Okay,
difference.
in Binky Bonky and
And Gene
Chocolate
Wilder's,
Factory,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
But Gene Wilder's or Charlie, Willy Wonka helps Charlie.
No. But like he's looking for the
It's
right kid.
just
Like
the whole
Oh, I saw
game
something
thing,
about-
the long arc. You
Yeah.
know?
Sure.
Just the finding the right person to give
Right,
my
right, right.
and then gives
factory
him like the
to.
final test.
Yeah, there's a
and,
theory. 'cause-
Hey, Boy in the Heron.
Yeah. Oh
like
my
gives
god.
him the final test, like with the gum stopper.
I think there's a theory where like somebody drops. I think it was Willie, the one that drops the chocolate bar that this guy finds, the kid finds when he starts running.
Oh,
around.
that's interesting.
Yeah, there's a theory about like he dropped it.
That's cool. Yeah,
But that's why I said like, holy shit! Like I never realized that until
No,
right
even
now.
at the very end where, at least in the Gene Wilder one, that
the
same
test.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
same test at the very end where he's like, "Oh, you
Oh.
lose and you're gone. Like, get out of here." And
So
then he
Charlie gives him the gum stopper.
yeah,
back
he's like,
and
"Okay, I'm kidding. Like, come back. There are the cameras."
Charlie, that scene is so fucking annoying. By the way, man.
Dude, as a kid, it terrified me.
No, but talk about him playing it badly.
When he was in the where which one?
lose.
It's just you lose. No, like that's fine, right? Like, you do feel for the
Run,
kid. It's like
sir.
fuck, and then he's walking away, and he's like, "Never mind," like you pass, and it's like that's so annoying.
Oh, but I was
know?
just
kinda do remember
small
that.
side
I
note.
kind of like the Burton film in that regard better
Oh,
because they
get
get to go
outta here.
home,
Get
and he has to
outta
like
here.
beg him, like
You wanna go?
Yeah.
Go to the mall?
no,
No,
and
let me-
that scene, that fucking
I just watched
No,
an
I know what
interview.
you mean though.
yeah.
I watched an interview with Wilder recently that he said that he was not going to take the role
Oh, I
of
love it. I was about to say
yeah,
this.
yeah, he wasn't going to take the role of
If
Willy
he wasn't allowed
Wonka
to.
if he wasn't allowed to do that opening scene where he comes
where
out with a
he-
cane
yeah.
and then
the,
does the somersault.
that explanation is so good, dude.
Yeah, basically he just said that the reason he wanted that scene there and he
You
wanted
won't
to
believe
play
anything he says after
yeah,
that.
he says after that, then
I remember seeing the film
everything's
now.
Remember this?
yeah, everything's subjective. You know, like you don't know if he's telling the truth or not.
Yeah, that was my little thing. Like,
Yeah, like,
that's
even
cool.
when he freaks out on the kid at the end. Remember when he's on the?
Oh yeah, and then
you
he
don't know
like
if he's.
no, then even for like that scene, he said like that he only told the sound guy like I'm gonna yell
yeah.
really loud. So he said,
didn't rehearse it
just
like that with the kid?
Yeah, he says with the kid he did it all normal, and then
Yeah.
he like startled the kid and almost got him to cry. And he's like, "Oops, silly me."
Should we just switch over to Willy Wonka, guys? Or
Yeah,
just
so
talk about that?
like,
Sorry,
dude,
no, it's
my
just, like,
favorite
that whole
moment
thing
is
was-
when his grandpa.
By the way, the new Wonka picture is actually pretty good.
is it?
Yeah, I liked it.
With
I actually
Timothy.
enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed
Put
it.
them up there.
Why is
Timothy
he?
would have been a good Parzival.
I was gonna say that.
There we go.
Now, but
Well,
not then.
Yeah.
no,
He
but
would have been too young.
No.
Then.
I think he would have been
Then
too young.
because he commands the screen too much now. Look at him in Dune. The fuck no.
Yeah.
No, but
Ah,
like
dude,
like
that's a hard
beautiful
one.
boy Timothy. Yeah.
Wait, what about French Dispatch, Timothy? I think
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
medium. Yeah, for sure.
a lot more human.
Yeah.
He's got that weird.
I like his character. He
Face.
fucks Frances
What about
McDormand,
Tom
man. He
Holland?
just gets it on with her. Good for him.
He has a cigarette in his mouth.
So this was done with mocap, right?
Yeah, man. The way they shot this picture. By the way,
Oh.
it's important to note that Spielberg has gone on record to say that this is his words. This is the third hardest film he's ever made in his entire career.
For what reasons?
He said, well, because of the technology, right? For one.
Oh yeah.
So essentially, it's not just mocap. It's essentially
The other ones were Jaws and Saving Private Ryan.
Jaws and Saving Private Ryan.
This one by far was the hardest then.
For him.
Yeah.
So he says, well, he said the third hardest.
Yeah, he said this is a third.
But essentially what happened is they shot not in traditional motion capture, because traditional motion capture was being turned into this. Industrial Light and Magic, which is the best special effects company
Disney,
ever.
right?
It's Lucas.
Oh,
well,
it's
yeah,
Lucas?
I guess Disney might own it now, but
it's Lucas.
No, I
Yeah.
think it's still independent. George Lucas created the company.
It's still Lucas?
I think so. And I love that company's kind of philosophy of how they approach things. But they were hired by Spielberg to do the special effects on this. And what they ended up doing essentially was, if you see the behind the scenes, they're fucking great. You can go on YouTube and see them. Spielberg is walking around with a monitor. And I never saw Spielberg do that before this film. But I always saw Spielberg do that after this film.
Oh, really?
For like West Side Story and shit like that. He walks around with a monitor, and on this monitor, it's basically being painted right in front of him. So like what...
I kept it on my...
Was that the...
Shit, dude, that fucking scared
yeah, me too.
Sorry.
Essentially, this new technology of motion capture... which I think James Cameron actually calls performance capture, not motion capture, because you can get more of the performances of the actors.
Do you know if this was done before or after Avatar 2?
Before.
This was done before.
Yes. But performance
but
capture
the actual capture, though.
Yeah. So this is what happens. Essentially, you're creating virtual cameras.
Yeah.
A virtual camera space.
I've read about this.
Where the production designer and the special effects artists are working in tandem entirely to create the environments almost in real time. What this ends up happening is this. The biggest example that I'll use is the Shining scenes, right, in the film. As opposed to getting, by the way, they shot half and half on this. Half of this was shot in digital, and half of the real world was shot on film, and the Oasis is obviously digital.
Right.
Right?
Wow.
But because they wanted the grain structure in film to, like, they almost exaggerated the grain structure in the real world. Yeah. And in the performance capture, essentially, the new technology is that they can put a camera literally anywhere they want. They're digital cameras, right?
Yeah.
So like Spielberg can be walking around with his monitor in an empty warehouse in a soundstage and do this. And then the world is painted for him in the room.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird to understand. You have to see the videos to get it.
Essentially they have a virtual world,
Yeah.
like
Like a 3D
the
scan,
digital
kinda.
landscape.
Yes.
And then as the camera's moving around, it's moving around
in real time.
the virtual
You're
world.
not animating a camera
Yeah.
to do so-and-so. You're
What
doing,
I'm not understanding is, like, can you put characters there or no?
Yes. But the performance capture factor of it is that as opposed to getting the characters getting their voice recorded ahead of time, getting the separate elements, they're performing in real time. They're doing it in the room. As opposed to doing, okay, it's time to get your action doing this. I need you to jump here and then flip there. And then, we're going to get your lines later. We're going to get your lines in the vocal booth. No, this is in real time, capturing every single part of the performance. Because you're in the room. Cameras in the room with you doing this. It's almost like a live action animation factor of things. Like, it's kind of weird, but anyways,
that is weird.
It was new. It was new, and Spielberg dove into the deep end. Like, I love this. Spielberg. There's a video of Spielberg with his monitor laying down on the ground, being like, "This is crazy. Like, I know what to do with it. I know what I can do with this."
But his mind is just.
And imagine a 60, 70-year-old filmmaker who's been doing this his whole life, being like, it opened up my world of what I can do. When Marty did Hugo, he shot it in 3D. And it wasn't a very unpopular opinion because everybody thinks 3D is a gimmick. And Cameron was basically the dude like, no, fucking shoot in 3D. It'll push the medium forward. Cameron's goal forever has been to make 3D without the glasses.
Without the glasses, yeah.
So
I'm with him on that.
Scorsese was like, I'm doing a kid picture. Let me shoot it in 3D. Let me see what this looks like. And he ended up just saying, it's just another tool.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
You have to put a little snippet of this and
Yeah.
But I mean,
but look at this.
A good way to think of it is like think of VR glasses. Like when you put on the glasses, you can see the world around you, and then when you take them off, it's not really there. And instead of it just being something you see, it's a camera that you're recording whatever you're looking at.
I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can make a picture like this without it. Especially of
but
how,
isn't this what they did with Avatar? Or it's different?
Yeah, that's exactly what they did with Avatar.
But
That's why I was wondering if this was before or after they did it for Avatar.
Avatar 2.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
But Avatar 1 came out 2009.
Yeah.
That's when they kind of started this technology.
Yeah, I remember this.
And
Yeah,
this performance captures, look, whereas if you shoot another either animated film or special effects film, usually, like, look at Marvel, right? Before performance capture, they were either wearing the green suits, they were the balls all over the suits.
I remember that. Yeah,
That was just separating all the elements, and the actor basically would have to act 4, 5, 6 different times for one scene.
Yeah.
In this scenario, you're acting just like you would in front of the camera. The different, and it's capturing the emotion in real time. It's capturing the lines in real time.
Yeah, and then also it gives the camera department the respect and the ability to take that physical, that physical creativity of like, oh, let's do this at the wide, let's back up, let's get closer and all that, and change lenses as opposed to before when you're animating the space.
It's almost like, how do I fill up so much empty space?
Yeah.
Right? Like
the perspectives are off. Then you're trying to like basically, it's almost like in like a Marvel film, you're virtually creating a backdrop where like back in the day they used to paint backdrops and put them there.
That's a little bit more okay.
Then
it's more tangible. Right, it's more tangible. It's something you can feel and
that is a whole nother level, bro.
And
then I mean, a step further is that now like there's the whole concept of like the Mandalorian, the virtual backgrounds, and those are real spaces that they've created virtually.
It's a real projection. It's a rear projection, rather.
The rear projection, but I mean, those are like spaces where they're like, oh yeah, do you want us to put objects or a sun and all that?
Fascinating.
And then as the camera moves around, the virtual backgrounds will follow.
You don't lose it. You don't lose it.
Yeah, now I get it. Now I get it.
So Spielberg saw this and his world opened up, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're definitely in a simulation, bro.
That's what I was telling Austin on the way here. I was like, dude,
I'm trying to think about that. It's insane.
Yeah. But also insanely expensive, right?
Yeah.
And complicated still. You have to have 10 technicians in the room.
But yeah, I can see why he was just like, man, the possibilities of this.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, even the fact that like those same techniques are being used on like animated films. Like I love looking at the behind the scenes and listening to the animators for the Toy Story, I think 4. Because when they talk about it, their goal as an animation studio was like, we're not just creating these animations and they kind of play on the screen. Yeah. We want to create this as a piece of cinema. So what they did is they have simulated RE cameras, simulated RE lenses, Cook lenses, where they're simulating the actual texture.
Emulators almost.
They were the first ones to do it, right?
Yes.
Simulated texture?
Like, because what happens is that when you use these different cameras, the sensors will capture colors a certain way and textures a certain way, and then the lenses have their own characters. Sometimes they're sharper, like Zeiss. They're super sharp, so whenever you're focused, you can tell. I mean, you can cut it with a knife. Like it's just super precise. When you play with like Cook lenses, even if you're in focus, the background just wants to melt off, and there's a different texture to it. But they created simulations for all of that, and then when they filmed, they used a similar rig, so that way, like when you're filming like Woody, these animated characters, it has that texture. Like if you're actually there filming it, you know, it's insane. It's hard to think about if you're not in that world. Doing it. But it just means that whenever they're filming things that are animated or CGI graphics are coming in, now we're almost putting the camera crew there.
That's important to note too, just logistically for a director. If I'm not mistaken, Spielberg basically shot his shit, and in order to catch up, you're basically now catching up to post as opposed to making post catch up before the shooting, which is what you had to do, right? So essentially what he did was he shot his piece and he literally went to go shoot the post while they were rendering all of the world. Okay. He went to go shoot a whole other movie. He couldn't have done that before. Even when they made Jurassic Park, well, a lot of it is practical effects, right? Most of it, or not most of it, but a ton of it is. He had to ask George Lucas to finish the film for him so he could go shoot Schindler's List.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like George Lucas took over basically from like the special effects side and the color side. It was like Lucas took her. He's like, I trust you, dude. Finish the picture for me. I got to go do Schindler's List. And in this scenario, it's like, oh no, I see what the world's going to be. I don't have to wait. I can approve now. Go shoot another picture. Come back and finish the picture. It gives you that space to, as a director, be like, okay, I don't have to be stuck on a picture for 3 years. I can go shoot 3 pictures and still come and finish this one.
Yeah.
And I think that just opens up logistically the world, man, so that you don't have to feel like, I'm attached to this picture. I got to finish this thing. And it's like, no, you can finish this part. Let the artist do their thing for 6 months. Go fuck off and film another film in live action that's going to take 3 months. And then come back and finish the picture. It's a weird kind of like, jigsaw puzzle, but it's more efficient.
Oh, for sure.
And as crazy as all that is, I think even the reason it'll still stay with its rating, at least on my end, is very much because this is super interesting. The filming techniques and what it's doing for cinema now, especially like when we look at films that have CGI involved in. There's just so much development. It's been previously developed, but it does show a new way of looking at cinema and capturing things.
That's why I love,
it's insane.
I love the technology when it's in the right right person's hands.
Yeah.
So like Avatar 2 for me, The Way of Water, fuck man, how much emotion is captured in that picture because of the techniques that they use even in its technology, right? It's similar to this picture. You see the emotion of Parzival, like, hey, like, no, I'm in love with this girl and she's a tangible thing for me now where I had to create my world, similar to Halliday, right? But if it was shot in the traditional animated sense, the traditional CGI sense,
or practical,
I think we would have lost it.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been.
We would have lost it. But now that we can get a cinematographer, I don't know who DP this, I don't know if it was Janus, might have been Janus. A DP who, it was Janus Kaminski. He's been Spielberg's guy forever. Essentially, we don't lose the emotion that the camera can present as an observer. We can have most of the time with animation, you have 3 DPs, you have 3 lighting DPs, you have fucking like everybody. There's so many hands in the pot just to get it like formally okay.
Right.
In this scenario, it's like no, an actual artist could dictate what the emotion of this scene is going to be. Yeah. I don't think you could ever do that with animation before or CGI. Because you're just trying to make it look good, as opposed to make it look emotional or to actually give it some information for your characters. And I think that's what's so special about Ready Player One is like it's Spielberg being Spielberg, and he's going to use his tactics to bring the emotion out, but it's being captured in such a way that we don't get lost in the technology.
Yeah.
We get lost in the story because of the technology and how it's used,
I never found it jarring when we go between worlds. Like it was so seamless.
No.
Yeah. And that's so key for this film because of the duality of their characters, right?
Yeah.
So great.
Also, 2017, 2018, when did this come out? 2018?
2018.
I feel like that era, you would hear a lot of people already starting to get like...
Fatigue
from CGI. Like a lot of people saying like every film wants to throw in some CGI thing, like some big monster, some big something, or this action, especially like, that's really in the height of like Marvel era.
Right.
Where then I know a lot of people complain like we want to start going back to like practicals and we want to see where we can insert practicals.
And that's why I think it's so important for guys like Spielberg to we covered Side by Side on this podcast, and then the documentary. Basically, like Rodriguez is saying, like, "Hey, Obi-Wan always knows what he's doing," and George Lucas is saying, "We're at the bottom. Anytime we're with digital again, we're at the bottom. We get to scale that up. We get to push that thing forward. If we throw more money and science and opportunity at this thing, it's going to develop faster."
Yeah.
So for guys like Spielberg who Imagine knowing a system so well that you're scared to go into new territory. But guys like Spielberg and Marty, like Cameron, they take these risks so that they can push the medium forward. Yeah. Because if they don't, the technology won't advance. And therefore, you won't make better pictures. You'll get Marvel doing the same shit over and over and over again because there's no auteur. There's nobody informing the scenes.
Yeah. Kind of like
so special, man.
Yeah, like I was getting to is just that they're taking something and using it as a tool in this art form. And I mean, nobody could have made a film like this. Nobody could have given it the scale and given it the care that was...
Nolan was the first name up. I don't think he would have done something like this.
How could it... No, but Nolan's also big on the practical. And that's another thing. Like, if this was done with practical effects, it wouldn't have had the scale. It wouldn't have had the feeling that I feel like... CG and this new way of interpreting film and how to capture motion capture.
By the way, I feel very good about the distribution of this picture too, because this is the first film since shit. I'm gonna get this wrong. But this is the first film in like something like 20 years for Spielberg that actually had 70mm prints.
Oh
wow.
70mm prints. That means that the filmmaker and the studio believe so much in this picture that you need to see it at the grandest scale you could possibly see it.
look,
70mm. You know?
you can pause your turd. No, I'm just playing. No. Look, everything you guys are saying is,
by the way,
on point.
He hadn't made
the casting was a little off.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair, man. That's fair. That's your area of expertise.
But yeah,
so
the story is good. I like it.
Spielberg, this is the first film he does with Warner Brothers. Again, also in like 20 years, because he's a Universal. He belongs to Universal.
That's a
Universal
fun little
Spielberg's lot, dude. That's his fucking studio, because they own the rights. And
he really wanted.
This is the cool part. Well, I guess, right? Because Ernest Cline had 2 conditions of whoever this thing was at a bidding war. Every studio wanted this shit. Millions and millions and millions of dollars, a bidding war. And Warner's got it. And he said, whoever buys it, I have 2 conditions. The 2 conditions are, I get a first crack of writing the script. If you guys don't take it, you don't take it, but I get the first chance to write it.
Okay.
The second thing is Steven Spielberg has to direct.
Wow.
And Warner's at the time, Warner's even to this day, say what you want, they have the most money out of any studio other than Disney, right?
Disney on top.
I mean, dude, there's talks of Paramount being bought out right now, but Warner's, because of their properties, because of having a successful streaming service like Max, they have money. And even before that, right? They had money.
Like,
they bought it in 2010.
They bought the rights in 2010? 8 years to develop this picture, right?
Really?
And it was probably because of Spielberg's schedule, honestly, because the writer was not going to sell if Spielberg wasn't going to direct.
Wow.
He held his guns. He held his guns.
And
he had a bestseller, man. He could have sold it,
Dude, it's crazy.
He had the power, the leverage.
So,
leverage.
To kind of round it to the acting side, break it down at least which character you feel like you would have wanted to tackle a little bit more, and also what do you feel you could have done to enhance that character, so that way it's giving the presence that I think you're seeing that a couple of them are lacking in. Which one would you have wanted to take a crack at?
Obviously the protagonist, Parzival.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I just think he wasn't. The plot, the story, the lines, the script, everything was written perfectly. I just think his emotions, whatever he showed, was just not executed right. Okay. Whenever I love a character in film, there's always something I take away, like, dude, he I don't know.
On the acting front.
On the acting front, yeah. There's always something like he did something that I really liked, or he said this line that just really stuck to me, or really, he had none of those.
Yeah.
Do you feel
he really didn't have any of those?
The I guess kind of like the shots or scenes in the film didn't lend itself, or him as an actor playing that character?
The energy from him was just not.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird territory, dude, because if there's a performance that isn't delivering, I would blame the director more than I would blame the actor.
No, I don't know who to blame.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying what the outcome was like. Yeah, he's got a good face. He's got he's playing that.
And it's all the live action parts, not the CG parts, right? Because I feel like
CG parts were awesome.
Yeah, but for all the live action parts,
it was just nothing memorable. Even his friends, like obviously Artemis was awesome.
Yeah,
but like Lena or
V,
the 2 Chinese guys, Japanese,
Dato and Show.
Yeah, there was just like. Maybe they were just trying to cram it in because those were characters, but it was just kind of like.
I do feel like Artemis's character definitely took more presence on the screen.
Which is probably why the sequel's directly revolving around her.
Same actress?
Yeah.
So the ones I wouldn't mess with would be Artemis, obviously the curator. I really like TJ. He brought the comedic. He brought that little, like, it's not just a flat film, right? I know there's arcs.
If there's one character I would have gotten rid of, it would have been IROC. Genuinely.
Yeah, he kind of wasn't.
I could have done without him.
He wasn't in the plot. It wasn't necessary.
He was just a minion for Sorrento. Who cares? I mean, like I didn't care.
But he was in there.
He was fun. Yeah, he was fun. It was fun. He was fun. But
again,
I could have done without him.
It's a blockbuster.
Yeah,
it needs those characters to
for sure
add humor, balance it out, and all that.
But for sure, definitely Parzival and Mark, whatever his name is, Anarch.
By the way, the curator character, Allison, you'll get a kick out of this, is the curator itself, right? Looks like a butler, right? He's based on S. Jeeves. Yeah. He's based on Ask Jeeves. You guys remember Ask Jeeves?
Oh my
The
god.
old Google, you know?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Ask.com.
He's based on that logo.
Yeah.
Ask Jeeves.
I liked him. You know,
I do want to ask, just so we could
Jeeves?
kind of wrap it up. Yeah, Jeeves. Now, any key takeaways from the cinematography that should be explored at all?
Absolutely. I feel like as cinematographers, when we're thinking about scenes and we're thinking about how to capture moments, I just know this in my own personal craft, but I know that there's people well above me. Some of these fanciful moments that are so expansive and immersive, grandiose, and for this film, I mean, there's plenty of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of scale, in terms of what's in the frame.
Scale and everything, I think that this film just shows a beautiful blend of taking the skill and knowledge of animators who are able to like visualize these huge scopes and how do we break down these elements, and then also go back into filming the intimate moments when there's these live action beats. You were talking a lot about the hair light in the car, stuff like shooting car stuff is super, it's a pain in the ass
tough,
because you're trying to create this really beautiful lighting in a very soft space or small space, and then also having any kind of movement. It's just it's really hard to kind of capture.
It's also like if you don't backlight, hair light is beautiful just because it's beautiful. If you light it well, it's going to look pretty. Why? Right? In this scenario, Spielberg chose his moments very keyly. That backlight is. He found his arc. He found his voice. This great Hollywood moment where he gets the girl and he gets to kiss her too. That's the hair light. That's a classic Hollywood tell, and he used it perfectly.
Yeah. I just feel like there's a lot to take away. More than anything, I'll even say in the production design.
Absolutely.
When you're dealing with really small spaces and you're trying to film these sequences, him walking around, him like looking at things, it's really easy.
Immersed.
It's really easy for those moments to be kind of boring visually because you're in a van and you're wearing a headset. Not a lot's going on, but they really knew how to like accentuate the lighting so the character's really brought out and he pops out. And then I think later on down the lines, all the lighting is to make him stand out. It's not to keep him in the shadows. He's not just everybody else. He's Parzival. He's the first. What is it? Winner of the key. Yeah, the first to the key.
First to the key.
I think the production design, everything that they added around the camera, so that way you could see the texture of the environment when he's in the what is it called, the slums, or when he's I don't know, when they're just in the van. There's so many moments in the van, that could be boring, but I just felt like they really knew how to bring the scale. But again, that kind of goes to the fact that
all of these departments were working in tandem.
They were working in tandem
visually for
and
this
again,
thing.
that blend. Austin said it earlier. The fact that they were able to go from these like big, grandiose scale CGI moments and then come back into the real world. And they knew how to balance out the camera like angles and shots, so that way they just pair well together. You weren't ever in these moments where it's like, oh, look at this big thing. Now look at his face. And if they were, it was super intentional.
It was intentional. For
sure. And it balanced out well.
Great.
I'm always super fascinated when it comes to blending in these virtual CGI worlds with practical cinematography techniques, because it is different. When we look at like things like the Avengers, right? They have to light those guys semi-motivated by what's going on in the digital space. But they're also lit very, very well. When you look at them, they're these really pretty lit people in very extreme environments where the lighting should be harsh and dangerous and all that. And you see them and they look like you could take their photo and they would look perfect. So this one definitely didn't do that. This one had a much more textural balance. I don't know how else to describe it. But I was pleased all around. This is
great.
I really want to rate this one very high, but I also want to...
No, we understand what it means, where it stands in cinema, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't, into my rating, I didn't take into account, like, I didn't appreciate the world that Steven Spielberg creates.
Yeah.
So,
man, this is my number one example. And that, there's a lot of bias, don't get me wrong, but this is my number one example for world building.
Yeah, that's why my rating might have gotten up, just because I just don't appreciate it, because I'm used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Now that I'm hearing you guys, it was beautiful.
Oh, man.
I'll probably go up to like an 8.7.
8.7 on your end?
Yeah, dude,
I'll still stay at an 8.8.
It does create beautiful worlds.
What are the biggest differences between the book and the movie?
Everything.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the plot, everything. I mean, like, there's
what's the page
it's
count?
like the book.
Entertaining and then not entertaining.
Yeah. The book expands the world the way a film could be dangerous if you did. Dangerously long, or you could probably do it through a series, but the book takes you through different planets, different cities in the real world, like different countries, where you, at least I don't know if you guys felt this way, but in Ready Player One, and maybe Spielberg did this on purpose, you feel like in the film, you feel like you're in Ohio when you're in the real world, and when you're not, the oasis is really the expansion. Yeah. Where in the book, it's like, no, this thing is so important that it's everywhere. That it is the world in the real world, and it is the world in the immersion. But I mean, things like
you really kind of don't. It doesn't fulfill that in the film,
right? Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and that's, like I said, it's intentional, right? You feel the grandiose when you're in the oasis. When you're not, it's meant to, ground things.
Also, the fact that you mentioned, like in the book, some of the characters are in a completely different country, and like
they are. So there's stuff like that. There's stuff that I think, even if I'm not mistaken, the Samantha character is in a different city.
Here's a weird question: who allows that?
What do you mean?
To put them in the same? Only the writer.
The same what?
The same. Like in the film, everybody was in the same city.
Oh, it's the writer.
Yeah,
the writer.
They're allowed. Well, the writer for sure, right? But like. He only changed that, or did like Steven Spielberg
had some input, I'm sure, and Zach Penn, who co-wrote the screenplay. But no, I think you have to also like find your focus, right? Where in a book you can be as expansive as you want because you don't have to worry about a budget.
Okay.
In a movie, you got to fit everything into 2 hours.
Yeah,
that's true. I guess my question was
but essentially, just the book gives you, I think, a deeper, almost grittier arc for Parzival. He goes through some shit, man, and he gets into the weeds about his parents and how they died, and we also
how did his parents die?
Lose a major character. I don't think it was anything super crazy. I think it was like a car accident, but essentially his transition between living with his parents and having a happy childhood to living with his aunt and
playing games
to kind of escape that world, right? And even when he becomes rich, you see a bigger arc there. You see him like, oh, he has money. I forget if it was in Ready Player One or Ready Player Two. I think it's in Ready Player One. They become friends with Ogden Morrow in the second act, and 1/3 of the way through, essentially. Really? They become friends with him. They go to his house. Ogden Morrow saves their lives because IOI is trying to actually kill him. There's just so much more expansion in the book of these characters and their arcs. And yeah, like Parzival goes through a stint where he's the richest dude in Ohio and he has a penthouse apartment.
That's cool.
But Artemis leaves him because he's self-indulging in this life, and he like gets depressed and he gets fat. He doesn't leave his house for months, and then he goes through the journey of losing the weight. There's a whole thing, man. There's just a lot of great kind of fucking expansions, and then that translates into Ready Player 2. Ready Player 2 really hits that focus. Ready Player 2 focuses on their life after winning the competition, which is really cool. So yeah, it's just.
Is there like great. Another thing, or it's just?
I don't think he has anything else in development
or something. Or?
I don't think so. Yeah, not to my knowledge, but just the book and the film.
Lack. Like the first one was cool because of the game.
But there's way too much like and differences. It's everything really. It's the plot. It's how these characters meet each other. Like in the book, when he wins the first key for playing that Dungeons and Dragons thing in the cave, Artemis basically approaches him like, I've been trying to tackle this shit for years in the same cave. How did you do it? And like, she approaches him and she finds him because he gets famous and shit.
Compared to in this one, it's this.
It's a meet cute.
It's a meet cute, but then also it's like, oh my God, that first punch of like when they start the game, what it does. I mean, visually on the
Artemis
screen,
is not very likable in the book. You know, like here it's Olivia Cook, charming. You know, she's smart, she's cold, but she's also fucking funny and playful. In the book, she's cold, man. She's a cold streamer. She's a cold like e-girl, but not the bubbly kind. Like she's just like, this is who I am, and fuck you if you don't like it. And there's a lot to dive into in that regard.
That was Ready Player One.
Ready Player One.
I'm ready for Player 2.
Indeed.
You say that it's in talks or it's in?
No, they're in development. I just hope that. I don't think Spielberg will come back and direct, if I'm being honest with you. I think Spielberg's trying to...
What would be your dream director for Ready Player 2?
Well, I think Spielberg's trying to...
No.
I think Spielberg's trying to attack more personal stories.
Guy Ritchie should really tackle that one.
Ooh, all right, I know who I want.
What do you want?
Oh man, the guy from Chef. What's his name? Jon Favreau.
Ooh, shit.
That'd be interesting.
I feel like Favreau
really
has a
interesting.
lot of great sensibilities.
If he goes back to that Iron Man,
Yeah,
First
well,
one.
he's on the Mandalorian world right now.
Dude.
You know?
He has a lot of good sensibilities. I
Yeah.
feel like he could
Yeah,
tackle
he'd
something
be
very
great. He'd be a great
serious,
choice.
and he can also like expand.
I would maybe tackle some younger blood.
Really?
Yeah, I'd probably try to.
Aster?
No.
no, not for this. What do you want, blood?
They're running naked with the
yeah,
headset on, you know?
No, I'd probably want somebody like a
Tyga.
I'm trying to think.
Ooh, Taika
might be
good.
interesting.
I don't know. Next Goal Win was fucking terrible.
No.
I heard that. You were so
Win wasn't
excited.
It
this.
was terrible.
But like,
Really?
dude, like Thor Ragnarok,
I don't know.
Love and Thunder, you know, that'd be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Favreau and Taika would be great. I'm trying to think. You know who I would like to see?
Wes.
No, Jason Reitman.
Oh yeah.
Ghostbusters Afterlife was fucking phenomenal, man. And,
I want to see the new one.
he didn't direct the new one. He picked a director, but that's what I was going to say. I just hope that Spielberg is directly involved with picking the director.
What about JJ?
J.J. Abrams? Nah, he's too serious in his
What about
stuff
J.J.
now.
Arms?
No, definitely not J.J. Abrams.
Yarg.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
He gets too serious, right? He gets
Super
too.
8 was-
he's
yeah.
not playful anymore. And
No, but I mean, he had some sensibilities in like
Abrams?
in the Star
Which one?
Trek stuff. You know, like I feel like you could see
that's a
more.
little bit.
Simon
over
Pegg
here.
co-wrote the script for that.
Yeah.
Those were his
I
sensibilities.
love Simon Pegg, bro.
Well, Simon Pegg's in this.
Yeah. Hey,
fine.
Probably the best
Simon
part.
Pegg might direct. You know, Edgar Wright's getting into more serious territory. I might trust him with something like this.
Was last night Soho the last thing you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also did a mock. No, not a mockumentary. Documentary on
The band.
yeah, that band. I forgot what their name is, but yeah, he just did some documentary.
Who was it? Jerky Boys or somebody?
No, it was like an '80s British band.
Oh,
that-
you're right. They weren't very well known.
Yeah,
And then,
everybody thought that they were gone, and they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"We're
yeah.
still performing.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
are you guys?"
I know who you're talking
It
about.
was in Joy something.
No, it was somebody like in the vein of the Sex Pistols, but it was
Joy Division.
someone I forget. Anyways, Edgar Wright might be interesting. Yeah. Well, Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Great picture, great books. Go check it out if you
yeah.
haven't. And
Who hasn't?
I just
Not
this is I don't use this term very often.
Whoop-a-lub-dub-dub.
This is a comfort film for me. This is just a comfort film. for
Yeah.
me. I don't use that phrase very often, but it is a comfort film for me. This is a great picture, and I love it.
I have no complaints.
Oh, you think Ryan Coogler could do it?
No,
No,
Bradley Cooper,
no.
Ryan
I
Coogler.
was like, yeah, me
Ryan
too.
Coogler for the no. I don't like him. I don't like him, dude. I really don't like him at all. I don't like his directing style. I don't like him. I don't like his approach to film. And like I think so many people kiss his ass. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't know.
Wow. Jeez.
But Say it
well-
one more time and I'll believe you.
Yeah,
you
no.
know. Black
Next
Panther
week.
was all fine and dandy, dude, but I just don't care. I don't think that dude has anything to say.
With
But
you.
I'll grant it. I haven't seen Fruitvale Station, and that's the best thing I've heard that's come out of that filmography. But Fruitvale Station with
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, and it was
Michael
a
J.
Sundance. Michael,
B. Jordan.
but it was a Sundance baby and stuff like that. So I just don't like Ryan Coogler. I haven't seen anything that I liked of his. So I don't think you could tackle it. Yeah.
Well, that was Ready Player One.
Ready
Wow.
Player One next week.
So now, do
Next
you know?
week, I do know. I haven't seen this film yet, but I heard
What?
so much about it, and I also thought I wanted.
Paddington 2.
How did you know? It's like we finish each other's
It's about time.
sandwiches. Yeah.
Cat in the Hat, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God.
I'd be down for that one.
Oh
It's
my
so
God.
bad that it's good.
It's so bad it's good. No, we're not doing that month yet.
I'll get you now. Make it look like an X.
No,
It's dark, dude.
we just tackled a very big,
You're
very
a dirty, dirty hoe. I love you, baby.
Oh, and then it like comes back up. Oh God.
I'm sorry.
No, we just tackled a very big film that has a very big world, and I want to bring it down to something more intimate, arguably experimentative in its approach.
Brokeback Mountain.
Am I ever gonna say my film? It's My Dinner with Andre.
Oh, finally.
Yeah,
You've been wanting to do that for a
Guys,
while.
wanted to
I
film.
If you
literally
Google it, I don't know.
since the last time
It's
we
the
If you can,
dude
can.
from Insatiable. Or what's it? That's the film
Princess Bride. Yeah,
What?
But it's I've heard
you
great.
fool, you
I've
fell
never
for my
seen it.
classic blunder. Yeah,
I've never seen it either. I've heard great things about this picture.
I never heard of this.
Yeah, no,
Wallace Shawn. Oops, sorry. Wallace Shawn.
Oh, I like that guy.
I've heard so
Lewis
much
Mann.
about it.
Oh, you know what? I have heard of this one.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
one location film, and it's just this guy catching up with an old friend from college, and it's them in their life, and it's just that it's
Wallace
just
Shawn.
having that dialogue and that conversation.
What else did Lewis Malley do?
He directs.
You don't say.
A lot of classic pictures.
No, experimental cinema.
94 he stopped.
Experimental cinema. Okay.
Well, that's because his dad does so.
But yeah,
I'm down.
yeah,
I'm down.
Yeah,
I
I'm down.
haven't seen it before. I
I
know.
don't think any of us have.
Yeah, no, I know nothing about it other than people say it's a must watch in every cinephile's catalog. So yeah, My Dinner with Andre coming to
Awesome.
you next week.
Let us know if there's a picture you want us to cover as per usual. And, we're going to be getting into some theme months after, I don't know, like 3 more episodes.
No, we each get one more free pick before.
Oh, okay. A couple more, but just let us know if there's anything you want us to cover. For those of you that have been asking, we will be chatting with the Film Cafe soon.
Oh, yeah. I was about to
They
say.
got new hours. Go check them out. They're open Tuesday through Saturday. And
But they're only showing films on certain days.
on Friday and Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday they have films. They have double features each day.
But go
which is
back to
great.
support.
Yeah, go back to support.
I
We'll
also
see.
know that Doug is doing his eggy creams,
Yeah, they're back.
but now he's doing
The
them
glass.
in the glass container.
Yeah.
Yeah, as they should be had. So yeah, go check it out.
Let's
Fantastic.
go check it out.
We're so
we'll
happy they're back.
Yeah, we're
Absolutely.
happy they're back, and we'll see. We'll see when we can get back in there. In the meantime, our role is to support them. So
Yeah.
just go check them out. And but regardless, we will want to do some type of live form factor down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have you guys be a part
Yeah.
of it. We miss it. So just stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for some of the theme months that are coming up, and stay tuned for the Tower Cast, which we're gonna line up some guests pretty soon here. And
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning into the WatchTower Film Podcast. My Dinner with Andre next week. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Love you guys. Like and subscribe.
Subscribe and like. And if you don't know, now you know. That's it. Yeah.
Good night, everybody.